Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, and it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us.
Welcome to the Why Does My Partner podcast. I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met at a training, and our secret sauce is that we and our partners became fast friends.
Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients.
We're going to bring those questions here, and together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions.
This podcast is not a substitute for couples therapy. If something you hear in this podcast stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We'd also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com to leave a question of your own. Here's today's question. Why does my partner make plans with friends without asking me first? Oh, y'all, I've done this.
I don't
so
know.
many
Times.
I have no idea why people would do that.
Adam,
You have
I'm
no
so
idea?
sorry.
No, Gabe and I, like, this is one area, like, we literally over-communicate everything.
Really?
Like, every little detail. Hey, did we have plans tonight? Because so-and-so just asked about this. Did we have plans next week? Because we both do it, and we have since the day I moved here.
Oh
I don't
my
know why.
gosh.
That's amazing.
You get like
Thank
gold
you.
stars in this area.
Really? So,
I
like, I'm reading
deeply
this, and,
don't.
like, other people don't do that?
I think I have like a D, maybe a C. I think I've gone up to a C.
Mhm. I've gotten a little bit less terrible because I have
Wow.
received the feedback. I have taken it in. You let me know later, honey, if I've gotten any less terrible. I think I've gotten less terrible. I think I'm better at it. And stop. And like this week, we got an invite and I did not answer it. It was from my dad about a thing. We did not answer it. I was on a walk with him and I brought it up and we talked about it together before I answered the email.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That's not the norm, is what you're saying.
No.
Wow.
Well, I mean, every relationship's different.
Yes.
But yeah, I am
Do
the
calendar
person who-
invites count as communication?
It depends. Do they read them?
Well, they're on the calendar.
Oh.
No, but do they read them?
But they're on the calendar. So they're on the calendar. So when they go to schedule something, there's already something there.
So this is a
I think it's half and
wonderful
half.
example of communication differences, right?
Yeah.
So this would be, we're the two of you in my office.
love
This would be
this.
one of those moments of, oh, do you have an agreement about how you will communicate
Calendar
about this
invite.
information?
But did
So
you
then
agree to that
yes,
too?
it's enough.
But no, I actually think it works
Does
because
James
like,
know that that's an agreement?
yeah, he does. Because like he'll
Okay.
take the kids to the orthodontist
Sure.
and then he'll make the next orthodontist appointment and he puts it on the calendar. And I'm supposed to take them.
Okay.
So
And-
that is the communication sometimes. That's it. It's on the calendar.
That's it.
If
It's
you
on the
have an
calendar.
agreement, then that's enough. So the question is,
Yeah, that
one,
I'm
when
kinda
this is
stumped.
happening, have you ever talked about it?
Yeah.
You know,
We have when it wasn't
That was
going
not
when
good.
it wasn't going well.
Okay.
No, seriously though, there are little things we do with just calendar invites.
Mhm.
And I got a sweet calendar invite from my kiddo the other day about something she wants to do this weekend, which is like clearly like a systemic thing now that we communicate in calendar invites.
I get it.
But that also
It
tells
actually
me that
lowers
must be
the vulnerability.
vocalized.
It
Wait, what?
was
She
vocalized
know?
also.
Yeah.
It was. We
Yeah.
had a communication about it, and then she gave me the calendar invite. So that there is a communication there. And then that's just like the confirmation and like the see you promised me this time. So that's cool. And I've also really goofed this one. I've also overcommitted us or committed us to things that he wasn't so okay with way early in our relationship. And we've had conversations about that. And we often really do have some conversations around, hey, so-and-so asked us to go out on a date, or we're doing a family thing on this time, or there's those conversations that are happening and agreements that are being made. Or there's even like, hey, do we have plans this weekend? So-and-so wants to do something. So like those conversations are happening and we fall back on what's on the calendar.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a system that's working for you all.
It's working pretty good now. Not 20 years ago.
Yeah. Right. So I was just thinking about this question and I can answer it for myself. So the question is, why does my partner make plans with friends without asking me first? Since I'm one of the people who does that, I can tell you one of the reasons why. Because I'm a yes person. And so it wouldn't occur to me. So if Adam asked me to do a thing with a friend, I'd be like, sure, great. When's it happening? Like, it's not, I'm a person who generally says yes to the next adventure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My work is more on accepting more limits or saying no more. My work is more in that realm than it is in saying yes. And so I think part of my why is not wanting to do the social thing did not occur to me. Like it literally didn't cross my mind that somebody wouldn't want to do it. Like, what do you mean? It's a social adventure. Why would we say yes to that? So I'm just putting out there a potential why.
Yes.
Right. And another why is to lower vulnerability. You know that old phrase. You said it, Vicki, when we were talking about this question. How does it go? Better to ask for
forgiveness.
Oh yeah. It's I don't know if it's better or easier, which one, but it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Right. So easier. Let's go with horrible. Easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier in a vulnerability landscape. Because I think sometimes this is going to be a direct request issue. Right? So if I want to talk to somebody about doing a thing with me, I've got to ask them if it's cool with them to do it. And I've got to out myself as wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So I state out loud my desire. And I'm there asking for you to come and join me in this thing. And that can be really, really vulnerable for some people. So that's another why that might be happening.
Because there's the risk
and that's the thing. Go ahead, Becca.
I was just going to say there's the risk of someone saying they don't want to do that.
Yeah, because even though Gabe and I have been very good with the communication, like since I moved here, it hasn't always, I don't want to say it hasn't gone well, but it hasn't always been a yes on both parts. Like Jules, like you're saying, he doesn't love socializing the way that I do. And so there have been many, rocky isn't the right word, but less smooth, I'll put it that way, just less smooth of me saying like, oh, we were invited to this party in a couple weeks, and him being like, well, that's a no-brainer. We're not going. Why wouldn't we go? I mean, so we have those conversations. We're not both in alignment on it. It's just we have. It's never come up that like it's the day before, and I'm like, oh, you do know that we're going to this, and he's surprised.
Yeah.
So the conversation has always been there ahead of time, but it's not always in alignment.
Agreed upon.
That's why I need calendar invites.
Why?
Because we could talk about it 5 times. And if it's not on the calendar, we'll both forget.
Oh. Oh, yeah. No, I don't forget.
Yeah.
Well, for parties, I might forget appointments, like the orthodontist appointment or this or this. I might forget those.
I will forget that I made plans with my best friend.
Oh,
really?
Totally.
All the things.
I'll forget the most exciting thing that I have planned for the next month. I will forget it. And so will my partner, even if we've talked about it 25 times.
Yeah. So
Wow.
some of it's
Okay.
just neurodiversity stuff.
Yeah, that's what
So
I was just thinking.
So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll need to organize that executive function externally, and that's totally
Mhm.
welcome and great. And you know what I was thinking when I was watching you, Vicky, talk about that was how sometimes the no will come with like a judgment face. And so
Oh,
if
yeah.
your partner has judgment
Yes.
sensitivity,
Yeah.
which they would have from
Oh,
their own history or DNA or whatever, right?
I've never heard that term, but I totally have it.
Judgment
Totally
face.
have that. No, judgment sensitivity.
Oh,
Yeah. So sometimes I won't ask because I'm so afraid of that face that would accompany. Why would we do that? You know, the face that
yeah.
looks a little bit disgusted. Yeah. It's the judgment face.
Oh, yes.
And so
I'm familiar
what
with that
if-
face.
Yeah, totally. So for some of us, it may be sweet color that your partner is, you know, maybe a yes person or a judgment sensitive person or executive function is hard for me person. And I didn't remember until this last moment. There are a lot of whys behind this. What I do think may be helpful is for us to just look at how are we nailing down the agreements about how we put stuff on our joint calendar.
Right.
Are we doing it through calendar invites? Do we always discuss it first? Who do we need to discuss it first? Who do we not need to discuss it first? All these
there's so many different
requests.
factors, right? Because it's like there are some things that, like, if one of the in-laws asks to fill in the blank, right? There might be a, yeah, of course. And if another in-law asks to fill in the blank, there might be a, oh crap, we need to have a conversation about that first.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it could go in a lot of different directions. And there might be certain conversations that we jointly know, oh, we need to sit down and talk about this because there's something in here that is sensitive or prickly or has some possibility for something to go sideways. And then there might be other stuff that doesn't feel as tender and could more easily be like, oh, there's an opening in our life. We can agree to this and we can then talk about it later. But how does that work in your relationship? And is that okay with everybody? Or are there certain conversations that are more like the orthodontist thing? Yeah, of course, that has to go on the calendar. And if we're talking about something that has a little bit more of a tenderness around it, maybe that's we have to have some kind of temperature check inside of our relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was thinking about how it can be helpful. This recently happened in my relationship. Super amazing relational gold star for my husband on this one. Because I am a yes person. He knows that about me. He took the vulnerable step of actually asking me not to make plans. So recently my family went through a move, and 2 weeks before the move, he actually said, could you not make any social plans for the next 2 weekends? Yay!
That's
Which was
so
a
great.
vulnerable and scary ask, I bet, because I like doing stuff. And I said, absolutely, of course, because we have so much going on. We won't. And there ended up being a little bit of free time at one of those spaces, and we did something social, but both agreed to it at that moment. And I did not violate that request.
Yay!
Because I did not make plans. So it was, that piece feels helpful to name too, is that if you do have a particular need for a shorter period of time, voicing that can be really helpful.
Totally.
I'm also realizing as I talk to the two of you, Becca, you were saying something about like in-laws on either side. And our life here is very unique in that there's only one family on this side out here, because my whole family's on the West Coast. Not that our listeners would know that, but my whole family's on the West Coast, and Gabe and I live on the East Coast in Boston. So there's only one set of family, and we know the dynamics there, and we both know them. And so there's no chance of spontaneous plans with my family. Like some example with my family, there's flights involved. There's certainly scheduling. So I think that dynamic doesn't exist in my house. So that's going to narrow down some of our communication pieces that other
Right,
families have
totally.
to deal with.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just thinking about how difficult it is sometimes to have those meta conversations about, oh, what are our agreements around this? And how do you do with making direct requests? What work do you need to do between you and you in order to feel supported enough, stable enough in yourself to go ahead and make that ask? And that's so unique. We made a workshop called Integrating Mind and Heart. And that one is all about how do you make these U-turns and find out what unique supports are there for you. So if you are listening to this and thinking, oh, there is like a little stickiness here for me, but I don't totally understand it. If you want a space to explore that deeper, we have that.
Yeah. Come check out our workshop. You can learn more about it on the Why Does My Partner website. It's happening 2 weekends in September. And we would love to have folks there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, if you are in a space where this is happening to you, I just want to be a hand on your shoulder saying, you can do this. Go ahead and have that hard conversation and ask your partner to do this differently and to say out loud, ooh, this is painful for me.
I have found that the more I lean into those types of conversations in my life throughout different relationships, and especially with my partner, it's like a practicing thing. It's like building a muscle. They actually get a lot easier. And when I can trust that I can do that, then I can have that conversation, that I can take that risk, it tends to go a lot better. And that's what our workshop is really about. So we hope to see some of you there.
Yeah. We'll leave it there for now.
Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner? We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show. To go deeper, join us at one of our workshops. You'll find our next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you can ask us your questions? Your questions are relational gold. Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.
And here are some gratitudes. Thanks to Al Hoberman, our sound editor and podcast production magic maker, our audio intern, Cole Rickman, and to every one of you who has joined us for our workshops in the past. We've learned so much from all of you.
If you're enjoying these conversations, please subscribe, rate, and especially please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
Thanks so much for listening to Why Does My Partner? Take care of each other best you can.
See you next time.